Alright, hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Monday Night Raw, September 25th, 2023 edition. And this edition of Raw began building an exciting fast-lane card, particularly the likely main event. Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins' 3 last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Becky Lynch prepared for her next NXT Women's Championship defense against Tiffany Stratton at No Mercy, and also motivated a new challenger in Tegan Knox. Knox would pick up a win on the red brand, her first ever against Natalya. Dragon Lee would take on Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship, pushing Dom to his best singles match, and Mysterio would emerge victorious even without Rhea Ripley in his corner, though Mommy was certainly missed. Finn Balor and Damian Priest also won in the main event, successfully retaining their tag titles against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but requiring help from JD McDonough in the process. So Monday's show pushed forward the key stories on Raw, while also setting up some new names to watch in the coming weeks. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. It has been made official last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship at Fastlane. And when you talk about who should win, there's an argument to be made that Nakamura should win this match. So Shinsuke Nakamura has finally set the date for his rematch with Seth Rollins. And while WWE has a chance to prolong the story going into the Survivor Series, this match should main event Fastlane and give the artist a second chance to prove himself as the top name. Now, I don't know why I would prolong to Survivor Series. I don't think it has the legs to do that. And if Nakamura loses again, if Nakamura loses again, though, even a good performance might not be enough to keep him credible. He will always be a good performer, but unlikely to be a world title contender again. Even during this feud, Rollins and Nakamura have been overshadowed by the Judgment Day, seemingly always taking the main event spot on Raw. WWE has struggled to sell this as more than a filler rivalry, despite the best efforts of both competitors. Rollins can afford a loss as a 5-time world champion in WWE, and he's also one of the rare figures credible enough to dethrone Roman Reigns, but Nakamura is in a potential or nothing situation where his legacy could rest on the outcome of this match. Becky Lynch has cemented herself as the top women's champion in WWE. So even though she's only been NXT Women's Champion for 2 weeks, she's already making an impact both on Raw and NXT. The band is pushing the importance of her title, appearing on both shows weekly. She gave Natalya a title match on television, which certainly is a rare thing, and set up Lyra Valkyria to win her first main event. Most impressively, she has now made Tegan Knox a featured name again. The Welsh wrestler has barely appeared on TV since, I think the last time she was on TV was December 2nd, 2022, and it seemed that she might be facing a second release in the company. Instead, and perhaps only by Lynch's request, Knox appeared on TV, won a match, and was hyped for a title bout next week against either the Mad or Tiffany Stratton, pending the result of No Mercy on Saturday. It's likely Lynch retains her title, continue her run as the top women's champion in WWE, and Rhea Ripley will certainly need to step up her game once she returns to try to take that top spot from Lynch. Dragon Lee, ready for the main roster. So he might not have won the North American Championship, but he looked like a future champion in his first main roster appearance. The Luchador pushed Dominic Mysterio to his best singles match and got the crowd in the Toyota Arena behind him without any other build on Raw. Dom and Lee have proved their chemistry together in NXT already, but both worked extra hard to make this second match matter. All of this set the stage for Lee to regroup in NXT and come back even stronger. There isn't much more that the 28-year-old needs to be for the gold brand, though, and he would be better served heading to Raw or SmackDown. The future is bright for Lee, and he is one of the best signings by WWE in recent years. He has yet to show anyone his best work, but he could do that against some of the top names on the main roster. And then the Judgment Day, struggling to maintain main eventer status without Rhea Ripley, despite being consistently in the main event. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens main event acts, and that's been proven time and time again. Jey Uso, he's called main event Jey Uso, and he certainly has risen to that level. And then you look at the Judgment Day, and the feud that they find themselves in with Rhodes, Zayn, Owens, and Uso. And the fact that perhaps maybe fans aren't quite bought into them, or they haven't quite bought into this feud. Now, could that be because Judgment Day is struggling to maintain main eventer status without Rhea Ripley, or could it be because this feud is boring? Well, let's look at the fact that Balor, Priest, Mysterio as a trio, haven't quite proven their main event status. Despite the Red Brand putting all three in the final match on Raw week after week, the hype for Judgment Day seems to have begun to wane. It hasn't helped that the top name in the stable has not been around recently. Rhea Ripley is a main event tag. She's one of the more popular women in WWE. Even though Becky Lynch has taken over Raw from her, the Australian can believably defeat anyone at any time, including the man. Her loyalty to Judgment Day elevates the group by association. Even though Dirty Dom had a great performance on Raw, he still feels lesser without Mommy in his corner. Balor and Priest look like just any other bad guys without their enforcer. A stable without its top star just isn't the same as the Bloodline when Roman Reigns. How the Bloodline's, just look at the Bloodline without Roman Reigns. Hopefully the plan is for Ripley to return soon. I don't know why she would not return, but yeah, you talk about the Judgment Day. I think it's a combination. Yes, without Rhea Ripley, the group just doesn't feel the same, and also the fact that this feud of Rhodes, Zayn, Owens, and Uso, it's just not a very interesting feud. It's quite boring, but it's quite boring. I think that just has to do with the fact that it's been going on for so long. It just does not feel fresh. It just doesn't. So in conclusion, the good thing about Raw is that it tends to be consistent. The bad thing is that consistency can also be boring. This week's show is decent, but it looks like every edition that has been presented for months, and that is just presented in the same way. It's just not good enough to be good enough anymore. WWE should be trying to make its shows must-see television again. Raw is 3 hours, NXT is 2 hours, SmackDown is 2 hours, so that's a lot of hours to fill every week, but WWE has more than enough talent to do that, and a lot of those people are just stuck on the sidelines most weeks. The matches involving Judgment Day and Otis versus Reed were highlights on a show that had a few memorable moments. Again, good show, but it needs to be better than that if WWE wants to keep people tuning in every single week, or at the very least checking back, or at the very least if they miss the show, they go back and watch it. Because again, Monday Night Football, I talked about this last week, how WWE seemingly is mailing it in with the return of Monday Night Football, and this episode didn't really do anything to move away from that narrative. So again, hopefully WWE can kind of pick it back up and give people a reason to either tune in over football, or at the very least go back and watch the show if they missed it. And with that, we'll go and wrap up this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.